Welcome to Toffee TV, joined by Andy. We're going to discuss Everton's to-do list in 2020. One of those things. Some things that we think the club needs to do, basically, in 2020. A few people have messaged in with regards to this and what we'd like to see. So let's get into it. Let's get into some things that Everton can achieve in 2020. For me, one of the first jobs is securing Duncan Ferguson on a new deal. I know there's a couple of clubs looking at him, and obviously he hasn't signed that new improved contract yet, or it's not come out whether he signed it. So that, for me, would be a very, very important part of if we want to call it Carlo's to-do list or Everton's to-do list. We were at the AGM this week. Spoke to Duncan. Carlo praised him. Denise Barrett-Baxendale praised him, Marcel Brands praised him, Bill Kenwright praised him, and that's great. That's all good. And now it's a case of getting him secure, because I think these two as a partnership, and I know there's David Ancelotti in there as well, I think can be key for the way Everton move forward. You've got the team spirit side of it with Duncan of demanding the effort and the work rate of the players and stuff, and then you've got obviously Carlo Ancelotti's tactical.
It's also bringing Carlo and understanding his background. Obviously he's got his son there, but it's bringing an understanding of Everton and what the core values of Everton are, which is important, because some managers come to clubs and they don't understand what is a core value of a club. And I think Duncan brings that with, he's obviously a great coach himself, but he also brings that intelligence of what Everton need, what Everton fans want, and what they expect out of the players. So he sets a standard, really. I know people talk about players setting standards, but Duncan's setting standards in the dressing room, what fans expect, what he expects, what Carlo expects as well.
I think he seems happier there on the side. He's obviously more involved now. We know that, listen, the previous managers, in my opinion, didn't use him properly, and that led to people saying things like, what does he do though? Or he should be doing this. Well, I think when Duncan came in himself, he talked about you do what you're told to do by your boss.
You can't overstep your mark.
It's the same thing, isn't it? But I think what Carlo Ancelotti's done, and having read about him and stuff like that, he uses his backroom staff really well, and he's done it at all his clubs, and he allows coaches to coach. And I think that's going to be good for Duncan Ferguson. Who, let's have it right. After Anfield, we were in a mess.
We were,
We were fourth from bottom. We had no confidence. Didn't really have the players. It didn't seem. It didn't seem as though we had the players who were up for the fight.
No, the fans were like, I know we had the Anfield debacle the other weekend as well, but it was worse. It was consistent, not showing a level of performance that, as you always say, Everton fans, ask for a base level performance from the players. We require work rate, commitment, passion. Weren't showing that, and then obviously Duncan came in and brought it all back. And people remember that Chelsea game, but that, for many people, that was the highlight for the last 5 years in some ways.
It was a big moment to do what he did in that short space of time. Was incredible. That performance, seeing him on the touchline, seeing him celebrate the performance of the players, the work rate of the players. And he connected the fans back with the players. Yeah. And, obviously went to Manchester United a week later. We had even more injuries. He put Holgate in midfield, and, we got a draw there. And, Leicester, we lost on penalties, but we were 2 down and came back. And then the Arsenal game, I think the players were just knackered.
Yeah, they've and
we ended up getting a point. And then obviously Carlo's come in and took it on, and that's great. So I think it is important to recognise the role that Duncan Ferguson played in turning us around and getting us going. And the other thing as well is it was a big gamble, because if it had gone the other way, then people, he put himself out there.
Well, we may not have got Carlo if we hadn't got those points, because maybe we were in the relegation zone, so there's a lot of...
And he would have been under... It could have ended up costing him his job.
Probably,
if they'd gone the other way, people would have been on his back.
It's quite an easy thing to give him. I think it's an easy thing to give him a new contract, because you start with small things first that can be immediately fixed. Giving him a new contract, saying this is our backroom team, this is our manager, next 4 years, that's sorted. And then they can start doing their jobs and start planning for the future.
Yeah.
I doubt that Duncan wants to leave, but I think everyone wants to feel secure in the role. We should show him our appreciation of what Everton believe him and Ancelotti can achieve at Everton.
Spot on. What do you think, just on the the development side of Ferguson obviously is with Carlo Ancelotti, his CV is incredible, absolutely.
Yeah, he's going to learn an incredible amount from him, obviously, and that's I think even Duncan can say himself that's going to be key. I suppose as you said, other managers didn't bring him in close; they sort of kept him to the side, and I think Carlo making him his actual one of his chief assistants or his chief assistants, you'll learn a lot from him, especially about different sides to the game that maybe we wouldn't see with other managers.
Yeah, I think the other managers maybe were a bit worried about the profile of Duncan. He's a big club icon, big personality and all that. And sometimes you can, if you're insecure in your job, you can worry about this fella who's over there, who's this big personality.
Ties to the club, the fans, the board. Yeah, you can understand.
Whereas I think Carlo Ancelotti, he's big enough to, he's not bothered about anyone, is he? He's big enough.
Nobody's always been like that, where he's gone into clubs and accepted assistance from other, who've been past the club. And it's quite a common thing in Europe, not so much here. Usually the whole backstream staff comes out here. In Europe, Bayern always have kept staff on even when Pep came in. So I think it's quite a good thing that we.
He had like Willie Sagnol at Bayern, didn't he?
Yeah, we've got some continuity. Some continuity running through it, and as I say, people have always said, we've got to know the Everton way, or got to understand them. There's no one who understands Everton better than Duncan Ferguson.
Yeah, so that for me, that's number one. Get that sorted. Like you say, reward Duncan for what he did, and then let everything settle down.
They can then start planning.
It's an important thing. Moving on from that. Will obviously be what falls on Carlo Ancelotti's shoulders then moving forward. I know Marcel Brands would have to do this as well, or work hand in hand, but let's just concentrate on Carlo Ancelotti because he's looking at the squad from what he can get.
Yeah. So obviously when Marcel's built this squad over the last 2 years, things are going to have to change slightly because certain players or certain things won't fit into Carlo's 4-4-2, his ethos. So he's going to have a look at the players with his own eyes and make a fresh perspective. And Marcel may have a lot of power, but he's still got to work with the manager, and the manager's opinion and needs and wants are important in that. So he'll assess the squad and then they'll obviously lead into the summer. They'll see what they need to fix. He might think that I think we need the right side of the player. We'll talk about that, but he may say, I need this type of centre half because I haven't got this type. So just things like that.
Yeah, and I think what Brands would do well is to but to do well to take on board as well is that tapping into the likes of Ancelotti's experience. Ancelotti's been here and done it before. He's won a double with Chelsea, finished runners-up. Duncan Ferguson's got a lot of experience with the Premier League play within the Premier League competition as well. And I think Brands can really help himself by drawing on their experience when we're going after these targets. And one other thing I'd say is, and this is a criticism that can sometimes be levelled at directors of football, is that they're doing the job from their perspective, and obviously a manager and a coaching staff, technical staff, whatever you want to call them, have to deal with the other side of that, which is getting results as well.
Future,
so I think the way I look at it would be one for the first team and one for the future maybe. And I don't mean one for the future as in Jared Branthwaite, say, who's 17, but one who is, say like a Moise Keane or whatever, who's got to develop as well. He's got the talent and has played in first teams and try to develop that way. And I'd like to see the likes of Marcel Brands going to clubs in Europe as well, but clubs like, I think we've said before, like a Bayer Leverkusen or...
People who play in the Champions League regularly, not your super clubs, as they say, but people who play regularly at a high level, playing in demanding situations, playing at high standards. Yeah, that, obviously you've got your Ajax, PSVs, then Germany, your Wolfsburgs, your Werder Bremen's, places like that. Yeah. And there is a lot of good players at those clubs, so I agree with that. I think Carlo there is another... takes your level up on the negotiation table. You can say to these players, Carlo Ancelotti's coached these players have gone on to do this, and it makes it easier to get players. Marcel, I know people credit Marco Silva with getting certain players, but just have the same gravitas, the same CV, the same pulse. So hopefully we'll be getting a higher profile player. I wouldn't expect you James Rodriguez types, because I don't think that fits in with the club's vision in the future, but I do expect a higher standard of player to come in.
Just actually tying some positions down then within that framework. Looking at Marcel Brands did a presentation at the AGM the other night. He put the squad up, he put players for positions and what we had in what position. And the only thing that concerned me a little bit was he said, we're quite well stocked in the centre midfield. It was like, we need someone with legs. Let's be honest. Andre Gomez isn't fit.
No, that's this is the difference between, again, your director of football and your manager. Your manager's looking for the next 5 games. Marcel Brands gone, but we've bought Andre Gomez and Jean-Philippe Gbamin, they're coming back soon. I can't buy another centre midfielder because that pushes them out.
But what about a loan?
No, I agree. I think we should sign, and I still think we should probably sign a centre midfielder because we want to jettison at least two of the other ones. So I agree. Yeah, we should. And I think I would still buy a different type of midfielder than Gomez and Gbamin. I'd probably find it more of an 8 who carries the ball into the final third.
Yeah.
Gbamin can be obviously more of a sitter. Gomez is more of a flitz between the lines, and then you need someone who can carry the ball up the pitch. And I think we need like Yuri Tielemans, for example, for Leicester is a prime example of that. But yeah, that type of midfield. It's just we've got options. Then you've got Delphi's experience. Tom Davis obviously could come in as well. So then that's like quite a well-stocked midfield. I would look at a loan short term. There might be some options. I'd also look to, as I think we learned from the Zuma, get an option to buy on that loan as well. But yeah, I think
me and you were talking last week, and someone who's been linked with Everton before, and I've seen quite a bit of him in Italy, is Frank Kessie.
Yeah.
Would he fit that role for you?
He does. He carries the ball well into the final third, and he brings play up. Yeah, he's still going to be. He's 23, 24. Still needs to be refined in certain ways, but he's a very good player.
Strong as well.
He can step in and physically play in the Premier League straight away, and then he adds that ball carrying ability. He breaks play up. He plays between the lines. That's what we need. Yeah, it's just someone. Until the end of the season, at the very least, you need someone who can get around the pitch.
There's Kondogbia as well, who's another one he's
probably
around.
I think as a loan option he'd be fine because obviously he's someone who can play that deep line role where he sits in front of the back four, screens, takes down ball carriers, and
not slow though either.
No, exactly, and he's also a good passer of the ball as well. So some of them two type of players until the end of the season. The problem with Kondogbia is, if you signed him and Gbamin are probably going to play in the same role, and I don't think you want to have over 50 million or over 60 million probably invested in one position when you've got other positions that need fixing. So it's about balance, but I think we do need at least a loan. And I think it shouldn't be a Gedson Fernandes type who's probably not going to be good for the first 6 months. I think it's someone who can come in, deal with the physicality of the Premier League and play games. I think that's a consideration with January that people sometimes forget. Is it'd probably be nice to sign a quality young player like a Rainier from Brazil or something, but he's not going to contribute this season, is he? And I think you look at the summer for your players who are going to, them type of players. I think we need someone who can step in now physically and meet the demands of the Premier League. So what, be good.
With that in mind, what do you even if it's not just January, what do you think that Carlo Ancelotti needs with this squad?
If you look at the 4-4-2 that he plays, Lucas Dean's fine. I think with Baines, obviously, we'll see what happens with him in the summer. We may need a backup left back. Obviously, then building someone behind Dean's, and but like we haven't got anyone in the under 23s who's really that level. So that's an option. Then centre back, we need a centre back. I know Mason Holgate's done really well. Yerry Mina. I think we need someone who's in the middle of them two. If you get what I mean. So obviously Yerry Mina's 6'5", not bad runner, but he's more of a stopper. Holgate's smaller, quicker, better on the ball. I think we need someone like a Zuma, for example, type in the middle who can do a bit of both. So we've got a nice little pair. Then you've got Lewis Gibson, or as your fourth centre back. Then so that'd be a nice option.
What about Michael Keane?
I'd sell him. I'm going to be honest. I think the issue with Michael Keane is I don't think it's his fault. I think he's not a great player. I don't think he's a great player, but I don't think he's a bad player. He just doesn't suit how everyone want to play. As I said to someone on Twitter, it was bad recruitment signing someone who's suited to the low block, who's suited to a certain style of play, and then trying to ask him to be his best in a system that he just can't play in. And that's the mistake we made with him. And I think we get a good price for him. He's played in the England international recently. There's certain clubs who could take him and make him a good player. So I would move on from Michael Keane, if I'm honest. Then you go into the midfield. As you said, we need at least another central midfielder to add to the bunch. Right hand, we need a natural right hand side player as well. We've got Theo Walcott there. Again, I'd probably consider moving on from Theo in the summer.
If you could, it's
a lot of money. Obviously, he's on, but we probably need two right sided players. To be fair. I know there's certain players like Bernard, Iwobi, Gordon, people can play out, but their best games are, in that 4-4-2 would be carrying the ball into the centre of the pitch, onto the right foot rather than going outside and crossing. Yeah. So you look at Cengiz Under's left-footed. Obviously, he's been linked to people like that. So I'd look at a left-footed, but also look at someone who can also who's right-footed, who can
go on the outside,
or cut inside, underlap as well. So right back's a big position. So I forgot to mention right back. I think we need a top level right back, and I don't think Djibril. I think he's a good player, but I think there's flaws there in his game that I wouldn't invest in long term.
Okay.
Seamus Coleman, as a backup for another season maybe, but I think John Joe Kenny, I've watched him in Germany, has done well. I'll give him his credit, but I just don't think he's at the level that Carlo Ancelotti will want, and the athleticism that's Carlo would want in that position. I think we need someone who's much more robust, who can get up and down, but is also a level of pass that Sidibe can make those passes inside and out. So and then we come to the up front. Then I think Richarlison, Keane, and Richarlison, Keane, and
Calvert-Lewin
are a good three. Whether you bring in a different type of player, someone who maybe drops off into that 10 position times, just a different type, someone who can play like that second striker role, similar to what Toffee, for example, and others have played in the past. That might be an option, but then that's overkill, I guess. It all depends on Moise Keane, really, because Moise Keane has to step up to a level, because if Richarlison got injured, then it would be Keane coming in. And I think we can't have that big a drop-off, in terms of, performance, because Charleston is our best goal scorer, so I think that's an option we'll look at. But the main positions we centre-back, centre-midfield, right-back and right midfield, I think.
So 4 areas that... Yeah,
you can't do it all in one summit, it's very hard.
I tend to agree. Definitely on the loan, I'd be getting a loan midfield player this window. I think we can probably get through to the summer with the 3 centre-backs we've got, and then make a proper decision in the summer rather than panicking now. Centre midfield, I think we need someone now. I don't think Sigurdsson, I don't think Schneiderlin are good enough to play that role. Tom Davies is still up and down. We need to get a level of consistency with him. Yeah, Gabama may be back. Yeah, Gomez could come back at the end of the season.
What level is he going to be coming back at?
What level? Ideally, you'd get someone who could come in now, who can get about the pitch, and then you can introduce Gabama in for 20 minutes, half an hour towards the end of the season, get him ready and used to the Premier League. So that's what I'd be looking for now. Centre forward, I'd be looking for a right winger as well if we could get one, but I don't know whether we would. But centre forward is a tricky one because Calvert-Lewin's getting better all the time. But Richarlison's better through the middle, we've said that. Get closer he is to the goal, the better he is. But he can play anywhere across the front three as well if you want to the front three. Moise Keane, I still think will come good.
Me too, yeah.
But what I would say about him is he is raw.
Yeah, he is.
His touch isn't great at the minute. He's made more of an impact lately when he's come off the bench. He's got into games better, and I'd be looking for someone like Duncan Ferguson to develop him, this back to goal play, and then hopefully the advice of Ancelotti with making runs, he can get on the end of things. But it'll be interesting to see whether they look at another centre forward. I think if you are gonna buy one in the summer, we wouldn't get one this window.
No, of course not, no.
But if you were going to buy one in the summer, I think you'd have to buy someone like Dembele at Lyon. You'd have to buy someone who's going to cost you 40 million quid.
So you go big on a centre forward.
Right. But I'm not saying you would, but I'm saying you'd have to buy a player who you can put in, who's experienced enough, quick enough, and can play the role and put the ball in the back of the net. And they're not easy to find.
No, they're not. That's it.
And that's the key.
That's many scouts are looking for those.
Exactly.
And he has played in England before, to be fair to Dembele.
Exactly.
That is a good shout. You could go with that, and then I guess Tom would then drop out, I guess, and then with Charleston, Dembele would play.
Well, it depends, because he could play. He could then go 3, or he could play.
Yeah,
he could put
Richarlison
wide right or wide left, because he's always going to put a shift in for you wherever he plays.
We were linked with Hee-Chan Huang from Salzburg. He's that type of player who can drop off the front, play, drift wide and stuff. He wouldn't be a bad sign. I like him, but Dembele would be a good shout. I suppose a lot of it depends where the level of Dom's going to get to, and it depends what the expectations are for next season. If it is top 4, then maybe you need to get that striker who can score 15 goals plus.
But then, what I would say, and I suppose the caveat to that is, both of our strikers are in double figures this season. Yeah. So
exactly. Well, that's why I said I wouldn't change it necessarily. And then Dobbin's not. Dobbin's coming through. In the distant future.
Ellis Sims is banging goals in.
So then you've got to leave that. That's why I don't think
Gordon. So maybe
I don't see we'll go 4 deep at many positions because
so
of that. That's what Marcel said. He said 23 with those 2-3 spots left over.
Maybe the centre forward won't be touched, and then if you get better midfield players and a wide player.
But that wide player, I would also say you might bring in someone who can play also up front as well, and then you get that option.
Then you've got the mix,
That's what Richarlison is essentially, isn't he?
Yeah, of course. And that will be an area. Actually, I like Under. I think he's very good, quick, and can play either side, either flank, but plays, cutting in on.
Works hard off the ball.
Another one is obviously Cornet at Lyon. He's a little bit raw, but
on his days, he's
another one who's a match winner. He's got that pace. For me now, Everton have got to buy players who can transition quickly. We've got to be able to just get at people. This being technical and slow doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
And being slow and physical doesn't work.
No.
You know, the Premier League's built on pace, power,
Yeah, it is. Every team's
as well as
going that way,
technical ability. So
unfortunately,
we have to do it.
So definitely, and that's why we are where we are. But
We'll have to move on from that. We've got under 23s down here, and I think this is an important thing, an important ethos for the club. And this is something that Ancelotti spoke about actually last week, about the academy and the pathway. Marcel Brands spoke about pathways to the first team. We've heard Jared Brandthwaite, who signed this week, the young centre-back from Carlisle, saying the pathway to the first team good because I can see him in it and him in it and him in it and things like that. So we have to keep that going.
yeah, we do. Yeah.
I'm very conscious that we've been sent a few tweets talking about the average age of our under-23 side being the oldest in the 23s. We've got a collection of players who are 22. You know, Harry Charles, he's just left the club, and good luck to him with his career,
contract,
wherever he goes, finding a new club, and all the best for him, you know. Hopefully it'll work out for him. There's other players at the club, you know, Anthony Evans, no one... It seems like Everton can't get him alone because of his wages, or no one will take him because he's on good money. He's 22. You know, we've seen Luke Garber be at the club forever. I know he's gone now. You know, and other players who... Too many of Everton's players, it seems, in the academy, still end up there at 21,
It's too
22,
yeah.
without getting into the first team. And so I guess the challenge here is to bring that age right back.
Yeah, it's down to 19 essentially.
19,
and so it's a bit, when you get to 20, you should be going out on loan, or you should be leaving the club essentially, and that's where the club needs to be. I think Marcel Brands would like it that way. It just took it. You can't just bin a whole group of players. It takes time to transition. So I think the under 23 needs to be, whether it's one player a year, you know, well, we got a great crop of players, whatever, needs to be on the fringe of the first team, as Marcel Brands said last night, only Anthony Gordon. And let's be honest, Anthony Gordon's level's gone up in the last 6 to 8 months exponentially. He's really come on. So, and then you've got other players who are, you know, Gibson. There's a lot of questions about Lewis Gibson. That's why he will probably go out on loan. Hopefully he'll find, you know, he'll prove those doubters wrong and show he can play in a physical game. Dennis Adeniran is also on the list that Marcel Brands come. I like Dennis Adeniran. He needs a load to show he can play in the midfield, you know, in the Championship or in League One. But then after that, you've got that gap then really of players, and then you've got your Ellis Sims, who probably is not anywhere near ready yet. He's got on loan, so he can score goals at a good level, much like a Tammy Abraham did. He went at different levels and scored goal, people like that. Then you've got Dobbin, who's only 16, Iango's only 16, and I think Reece Hughes is the other one who they like, isn't he? They're all younger lads who need time. Ryan Astley, of course, as well. They're all young lads who need... They can go into the under-23s when they're 18, maybe 19, but then we need that path. Brandthwaite as well. I would have preferred him to go back out on loan. Maybe he will.
We've said, me and Ped were talking about that, and maybe the club will have a look and for a couple of weeks, get him bedded in, and then go, right, let's see if we can get you
because
alone.
Because he was playing at that level again. I know it's not a great level of football, but playing against men and being tested physically every single week, it makes you think all the time, and it's done players really well, especially centre-halves. Even John Terry went out on loan for a period when he was younger. So that'll be key, really, if you can find that good loan for. But I like that sign. That's the first time we've made a sign. I think on the Brands for the under 23s, isn't it? And I think it's a really good sign. It shows that we're looking at players in the lower levels who could make that step up eventually.
You could do it, yeah.
Could do as well,
but that's the key, isn't it? The 23s is about reducing the age, getting it down, because our under 23s, our academy should be producing footballers. Like you say, hopefully for Everton, 1 or 2 even, but otherwise to fund the whole programme.
Exactly,
so you get a player and go, like John Joe Kenny for argument's sake, right? He's 22 and he's got a good loan. Yeah. He's in Germany. He's forced his way into the team. He's been in the team the whole season and done well to stay in. And if Everton sell him to Schalke, if they do, they could get around 15, 18 million quid, say, maybe. Now, that's a lad that's come through the academy. So we've trained him and we've sold him for 18
plus 18 million.
And that's straight into your FFP. And we should be able to create half a dozen John Joe Kennys. Now, okay, some of them mightn't play at Bundesliga level, but League One, Championship,
4 or 5 million,
3, 4, 5 million quid, then that's getting put back in. But those players, you're more likely to get more money for them when they are 19 and 20 than when they're 22, 23. And if Everton, that's got to be the challenge now, and I guess that's the challenge for Marcel Brands if he's overseeing it. And I suppose the other thing for the 23s as well is David Unsworth, who's done a good job at
Yes,
the 23s, won trophies there and all that. But now, for him, it's about his ambition, I guess. And is his ambition to just stay as the academy director or whatever his title is now? Because now he's the manager, but he's also, I think, the academy director as well, I think. Is that his ambition? Is that what he wants to do? And if he does, that's fine. No problem with that. There's club men who stay at clubs forever. Or is his ambition in the long term to be a Premier League manager, maybe an Everton manager, or maybe whatever?
That's a mentality change that's required then, because, you know, Unsworth has won trophies for Everton, but it's a development league at the end of the day. And you look at Liverpool's players when they came in against us, straight assimilated into that style. Now, obviously, we change managers, so it's hard to. But Everton need to develop their own style, whether it's an idea of Carlo's 4-4-2 or, you know, a hybrid of that or whatever. Everton needs to have a style of play and an ethos of each player coming all the way through the academy from young to old. It takes a long time to put that in. We won't see the fruits of that until probably even Carlo's left, really. But that's something that we need to consider. All the top clubs have considered it. All, you know, that's what they're doing now. And I think Unsworth needs to either do that or move on for his managerial career, because you can't stay at Everton forever and be expect to get a good job. You've got to go out and prove yourself. But, you know, even, you know, Frank Lampard went to the Championship, so, you know, if Unsworth wants to do that, he'll have to go and manage somewhere.
I think, to be honest, I think you get a job, definitely. I think a few clubs lower down.
Wigan will probably take him,
Wigan, someone like that will take it. So that's like kind of like the playing squad. It's a big year for Everton Football Club in terms of Bramley Moor Dock.
Of course, yeah.
So we've got on our to-do list, secure and begin to build.
As we can call it probably now, the USM Stadium.
Yeah, secure and begin to build the USM Stadium. Yeah. Or the USM Arena, whatever. That's a key thing, isn't it? We're at a real pivotal point in the club's history, you know, a massive part of the club's history, you know, building Bram, getting that secured. The planning application's gone in, we're waiting, it's going to be 3 or 4 months before we hear anything. Possibly it'll get called in for a review, but hopefully Everton,
we've backed ourselves.
Hopefully Everton have answered the questions at the back end, so that when they look at it, it's ticked off there. Quicker process. And then hopefully we can get a spade in the ground, middle of summer, late summer.
You hope so, because as soon as that spade, I think a lot of people who are still worried about the ground, and there's obviously silly people go on the radio and say it's never going to happen, naming no names. But, you know, that's...
Jeff from West Derby.
Yeah, but people need to... I think people take a sigh of relief, because I think it's finally, after all these failed moves, it'll prove that it is happening, and then we can look forward to it. Then we can get, you know, then we can concentrate on what's going on the pitch, and then once it's built, hopefully it'll all come together. That's the hope, isn't it? Really, and I think it'll be a great day once the spade goes to the ground. I think Evertonians be really happy. I think it's going to be, and obviously the more designs that come out, and we'll find out probably what's going to go around it as well. It'll make it very exciting for the fans.
There's things with the glass restaurants on top of the car park and things like that make, you know, massive differences.
The Megaphone glass restaurant.
The Megaphone glass restaurant sponsored by USM and everything else. But that is the key thing. I mean, in terms of the stadium, obviously the planning permission's gone in. The option to purchase the naming rights for it's there. We, you know, at the AGM, Bill Kenwright had said Farhad Moshiri wasn't present because he was off talking to schmoozing for people to pay for the stadium, and Everton are very confident with the financial aspects of it and stuff like that. So it's all pointing in the right direction. You don't spend in the region of 30 million quid.
I think people got to understand that. I think people got to understand that Farhad Moshiri is a different level, and people have tried to build a stadium for him in the past. He knows people. He's involved in a billionaire's game, really. And Usmanov. Well, the contacts them two have as a pairing anyway.
Steel company for the
start. They can get an appointment with any bank in the world, you know, and that's the difference. I know Bill, you know, tried to get to King's Dock, and then obviously the failed move to Kirby.
Thank God.
Yeah. They just seemed haphazard at the time, and people knew that, especially the latter two ones at the Walton Park. People really knew that they weren't really going to happen, because they were, you know,
they were just concepts.
And I think this time it's the realisation there's different people involved, and it will happen. If it gets called in, I think we've covered ourselves greatly, so I wouldn't worry if it did. I think they said last night it'll be in the next couple of weeks. It goes onto the portal, and then 13 weeks from there. So I just hopefully before the summer we'll have some great news.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and we can start getting excited about that as well, as much as then the countdown. I mean, they mentioned it last night. The countdown to Goodison Park. There's only 100 hours, less than 100 hours
For
or
football,
whatever
right,
it is
okay.
of football at Everton, at Goodison.
Sad, isn't
So
it?
that's the thing, so that it is tempered. I suppose on top of the stadium thing, the final point we've got on here, and this is obviously a very difficult one, but this is something that Everton could maybe aim to do, is try and improve our commercial deals. We know that there's going to be a kit supplier change. There's a real hum about that. And then there's,
The option of sports pays maybe or maybe not.
Sports pays are maybe getting changed or similar.
And they're big deals now. I'm not expecting massive increases, but any increase
Gotta be the increase.
And obviously you can point to the fact that by that time we change, hopefully the stadium will be all proved
Could
then.
be proved,
so that adds, a bigger name to us. And then obviously Carlo Ancelotti as well. It adds eyes, doesn't it? And I suppose if companies and, if the banks are taking us seriously, companies will take us more seriously. And hopefully, I wouldn't mind, Everton watches by Rolex or whatever, like Man United have got all that. But it pays for it, doesn't it?
You've got to have
training kits sponsored by someone.
You have to have all of that stuff for the simple reason. Well, a training kit sleeve sponsored by Megaphone.
Yeah.
You should, Liverpool have got a totally different training kit sponsored by whoever. Man United have had that for a Man United have had that for a while, haven't they? A different sponsor and stuff like that.
Yeah, Turkish Airlines is their airline supplier.
You've got all of that stuff that goes with the partners and everything, and that's what Everton are looking for, to build and build.
Steel partners.
We can't go to the very top of the tree and go, hang on, Liverpool have got 80 million a year off Nike, so we should be able to get 50 million a year off Adidas. Because Adidas go, sorry, where do you finish in the league?
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Have you got any world star play? It's all
we don't want to be
things.
the 30th club on people's list. This is what I said about humming along, as they say. They've got Rangers, yes, and they're a massive club, but then they've probably got a few other clubs. But Everton would then be one of their top clubs, and they would concentrate on us, and they would concentrate on producing products. Yeah, we need that. We need to be loved by someone.
We don't want
to be Nike's 50th
the Nike deal that we had in 2013.
It's nice to have Nike and Nike.
No money and print your own badge.
Yeah, exactly. Print your own badge.
There's your kit. Just stick a badge. Like Leicester. People go on Leicester's kit you can get for 14 quid.
Exactly. It's just
without the badge, and then you can get someone to put the badge, and you've got a Leicester kit, which is the Leicester kit.
And if you look at Hummel's stuff, Hummel created the 1986 Danish, which is famous, Danish Dynamite. They do a lot of retro designs. I think some people put some concepts up based on their designs. They look good. Whether it's not Hummel, it's another company. I think if it was an Under Armour type or whoever pays us the money, it doesn't matter as long as they do the right thing by Everton. And we don't want to be, as I say, getting
Yeah, it could be anyone, yeah. Honest. And then with that comes another sleeve sponsor, because I think Everton might be changing the sleeve sponsor, one of the sleeve sponsors anyway as well. So all of those deals have to be a little bit better. And then that all goes into the pot.
But it does, because the Premier League money is mostly, unfortunately, taken up by wages, and that's why people can afford to have these really expensive squads, because the Premier League money clubs' wage bills are like 80 million, 60, 70, 80 million a year, aren't they now? And then it's the money Man United's 300, and a lot of the money is taken up by those things, and it's the money you earn on top that you can balance it, and then your owner can start plopping money in, or your friend owner, whatever. But it's really important to the modern game. I think Everton need to push the club's history, where the club's going to get to the level it requires. But not, we shouldn't be having commercial deals on the same level as mid-table clubs. We should be the next best until we're not.
And
having
people like this fella in charge shows that you're going, or hopefully you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly,
that is it. That's our to-do list for 2020 for Everton. Tick, tick, tick. Let us know what you think in the comment section. But what have we missed? What is in your to-do list? I know some people will be get rid of this player and that player, and that's right. There's a lot of players like say Yannick Bolasie, who hasn't got a future at the club but is under contract. Cenk Tosun quite clearly hasn't got a future at the club. Get them out the door in the summer. Sandro Ramirez, excuse me, and create wages, which will all come back in.
Honest, that's never happened.
You never know.
Sandro's very difficult, but yeah,
you never know. But that's what we've got.
They're small things, though, and we will, and I think we'll try our best to get rid of those players. But these are the sort of big things that are on the horizon. And you see Dunk get that new contract, and then we can move on to looking at the squad, then move on to the summer. Then.
Yeah. Spot on. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Big thanks to Andy. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you want more great videos, join us over on Patreon. Thanks for watching. See you later.